Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Kruti Vyas, and today I am going to present Ambition and Madness, a psychological study of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, exploring the mind behind the murder. This is my personal academic details with presentation details. This is a table of content which I will discuss today. This is a research question and hypothesis. So my research question is, in what ways do ambition and guilt collide in Macbeth's mind, transforming him from a noble warrior into tragic figure consumed by madness? And this, my hypothesis, in Macbeth, Shakespeare reveals how unchecked ambition and crushing guilt gradually shattered the mind and conscience, turning a brave and honorable man into a tragic figure consumed by madness. So I will start my presentation with this quotation, which I taken from original text. Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Macbeth. Macbeth's these haunting words revealed a mind poisoned by ambition and guilt. This is a content. So as we know that Macbeth is a psychological tragedy. So definition of psychological tragedy: a psychological tragedy focus on inner conflict of protagonist rather than external fate or politics. Macbeth is a tragedy of the mind. His downfall is not just caused by destiny or external enemies, but by his own inner turmoil. Second one is Macbeth beyond moral or political tragedy. Shakespeare explored the inner world of a man torn between ambition and conscience. Third one is the mental consequences of ambitions and guilt. Ambitions drives Macbeth rise, but guilt causes his falls. The fourth one is character transformation. As we know that at the beginning of the story, Macbeth portrayed as a noble warrior, but portrayed as a noble warrior, but once ambition takes over and he it becomes increasingly isolated and paranoid and violent. As well as Lady Macbeth initially appears strong and manipulate, but after Duncan's murder, her suppressed guilt leads to sleepwalking and madness. Core idea: Macbeth's mind become the true battlefield where ambitions and guilt wage war. Beyond politics and power, Macbeth, a psychological tragedy, inner conflict between ambition and conscience. Macbeth's ambition pushed him to desire throne, but his conscience warns him that killing Duncan is morally wrong. Psychological struggle. After killing Duncan, he immediately feels remorse and anxiety, showing the tension between ambition and conscience. So Shakespeare shows how thoughts and emotions can take over a person. Last one is destruction and destruction from within. Macbeth's downfall does not come from outside forces, but it comes from his own mental decay. According to Freud, the mind has three parts: id, ego, superego. In Macbeth, the id is a raw ambition and desire for power and awakened by witches and Lady Macbeth. The superego is conscience, which bring guilt, fear, and hallucination after Duncan's murder. The ego tries to balance both, but as the play progresses, it collapses, letting ambition overpower the morality. Jungian archetypes. Carl Jung suggests that everyone has hidden aspect of their personality called archetypes, like shadow, which is dark and suppressed side of ourself. The shadow represent darker and repressed part of the psyche. Anima, Animus is related to Lady Macbeth because Lady Macbeth suppressed her feminine empathy and sex me here to push ambition. The Lady Macbeth Effect. Lady Macbeth's obsessive hand-washing after Duncan's murder illustrates the Lady Macbeth Effect, a psychological phenomenon where moral transgression triggers a desire for physical cleansing. Her guilt is not only mental, but expressed through ritualistic actions, showing how psychological conflict manifests in behavior. Modern personality perspective, the dark triad. So, the Macbeth is embodies the dark triad traits: narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy. So how it connect to Macbeth? So manipulated by Lady Macbeth is Machiavellian influence, willing to kill Banquo and Macbeth family psychopathy, and display self-centered desire for powers, narcissism. The birth of ambition. Macbeth's initial mental state. As we know that at the beginning of the play, Macbeth is portrayed as a noble, valiant warrior, and he loyal to King Duncan and devoted to his duty. And we also know that Macbeth's identity at this point is stable and balanced. His desire is under control, and the ego function is in harmony with his superego. But this balance begin to crumble the moment he encountered temptation. The witch's prophecy, the psychological trigger, when the witches greet him as then of claims, then of Cawdor and King Ahad hereafter, they plant a mental suggestion that act as a spark of his dormant ambition. The witches never instruct him to commit murder, but they merely mirror his inner yearning. And his thought, if chance will have me king, why chance may crown me, reveal his early attempt to rationalize ambition even as he senses its danger. Lady Macbeth influence. Lady Macbeth pushes Macbeth to act by questioning his bravery. Art thou afraid to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? So she overrides his hesitation and encouraging him to kill Duncan. So she act as a catalyst, turning his ambition into action. Ambition become obsession. After becoming king, Macbeth's ambition turned into fear and paranoia, and his ambition consumes his morality, peace, and reason. So that the tragic downfall, Macbeth become a tyrant but isolated by fear and guilt. So Shakespeare here shows that unchecked ambition leads to self-destruction. Lady Macbeth madness. At first she appears strong and fearless, but guilt later drives her into sleepwalking and madness. She keeps washing her hands, crying, "Out, damn spot! Out, I say!" A symbol of her unending guilt and mental breakdown. Lady Macbeth persuasion. Lady Macbeth plays a very vital role in transforming Macbeth's thought into intention, and is questioning his manhood and courage. When you thus do it, then you were a man. She acts as a catalyst, turning his ambition into action. Relevance of Macbeth in modern times. Macbeth remained relevant because it explored ambition, manipulation, morality, power, and psychological conflict, all in a universal human experience. Modern adaptation continue to reinterpret the story and showing that Shakespeare's works transcend time, the culture, ambition, and power. In modern society, similar patterns appear in politics, corporate competition, and social climbing. Manipulation and influence. Lady Macbeth manipulated Macbeth to act against his consent. Today, manipulation exists through peer pressure, social media influence, and advertising. Guilt, paranoia, mental health. In modern time, modern audience relate to stress, anxiety, depression, and guilt caused by unethical choices. Moral consequences. In current times, unethical action in business, politics, personal life can lead to legal, social, and personal downfall. Current adaptation of Macbeth. So, current adaptation in film like Macbeth 2050, Justin Kurzel, he highlights violence, ambition, and psychological struggle. Scotland PA 2001, dark comedy set in fast food restaurant, adapting the story to a modern context. In television shows like House of Cards or Breaking Bad explore Macbethian themes like ambition, betrayal, and moral corruption. Theater, modern stage production plays the story in corporate office and political campaigns or war setting, showing its timeless relevance. Conclusion, the psychological study of Macbeth conclusively demonstrates that the true tragedy lies not in a fall of king, but in a catastrophic collapse of the human psyche driven by unchecked ambition and subsequent guilt. And subsequent guilt, thereby proving our hypothesis that Macbeth's downfall is journey into madness initiated by internal conflict. The central theme which defines the play is a profound exploration of moral corruption is perfectly encapsulated in Macbeth's own realization of his perpetual torment. To know my deed were best, not know myself. These are my references. Thank you. Questions are welcome.
So my question is, what are the three traits of the dark trade and how they manifest in Macbeth's actions?
So Macbeth embodies dark traits, as I earlier mentioned, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. So his obsessive ambition revealed narcissism. Lady Macbeth's manipulation reflect Machiavellianism, and his ruthless murders of Banquo and Macduff's family expose his psychopathic nature. If anyone.
My question is what specific way do the themes of Macbeth remain relevant in modern society?
The play's theme remained relevant through their exploration of universal human experience. Unchecked ambition is seen in modern politics and corporate competition. Manipulation is present in peer pressure and social media, and the mental consequences of guilt resonate with modern understanding of stress, anxiety, and depression. Thank you. This is from my side.